Hey guys, what's going on? It's Justin just coming to you with another video. It's 5:54 in the morning. I didn't get a wink of sleep. I've been sitting up here on the couch all night, all morning. Just watching TV, smoking weed, shopping online without money. Just looking at shit. So, I don't know. I get into smoking weed at like 10 o'clock at night, and I just don't feel like going to bed. You know, like it's not essential for me to sleep. Sometimes. I don't know. But today's video is going to be on my, my 5 favorite knives. One of them cannot be used. Or if I do use it, it's got to be light use. But the rest of them can be used without worry. So, I got my Coca-Cola. I'm a type 2 diabetic. I'm not supposed to be having sugar. But I can't help it. I don't know what to do. I think I need to quit sugar is what I need to do and get on a health kick. But that's not happening right now. You need money to eat healthy. You need serious money to buy salad stuff and chicken, and so that's not happening right now. It's gonna happen very soon. I'm gonna lose all this weight. I'm gonna get healthy and all this stuff. So right now I'm just trying to get my tooth pulled. That needs to go because it's cracked in my head and it's kind of infected, and I don't get dental coverage till October 1st, so it's about 2 weeks away. So I might as well just wait for the insurance to kick in, because that molar's got to get pulled. There's no saving it. So, we got a bowl pack. And we'll be smoking some weed while we talk and chit-chat about the knives. I'm schizophrenic, so I collect a check. And, I just chill. I'm starting a new career. So, I went from being a master plumber to not wanting to do that anymore. It's too physically demanding. I feel not good doing plumbing. It's just not a good feeling. And I've got schizophrenia, so like I don't think too clearly anymore. You know, I used to think real clearly, like plumbing wasn't a problem. But now I have a hard time picturing things in my head. Like I could do easy plumbing, but complicated stuff I may have difficulty with, you know? I'm not the spring chicken I was when I was 22 years old. So, the next career, and you gotta think about it. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just thinking about it. I'm listening to music, and I'm thinking about what style of music I would play if I played guitar. I'm thinking about what I like to hear, and I have a whole musical career waiting for me. I have 2 electric guitars, 2 world-famous electric guitars, and I have 1 acoustic electric guitar. So, I have 3 total guitars. And I could have saved a lot of money getting Japanese guitars, but I went with name brand American. I bought a Les Paul special edition, and I'm gonna have the nicest looking Les Paul on the planet. It's a triple A flame top, and it's a special edition. So, and it's got Seymour Duncan pickups in it, which is like competing with Slash. So, I coulda got a custom Les Paul with stainless steel frets instead of nickel, silver, nickel silver frets, which the stainless steel is supposed to be better. But who wants to spend $5,000 on a custom Les Paul? That's just, I mean, if I get into the business and start playing professionally, I'll spend the money, but not right now. The $2,200 was enough for me with that Les Paul. That's how much I spent on a used one. New used. It's a 2021 model. And it was new used at Guitar Center, so I picked that up. So I just want to I'm getting kind of kicked out of my house, so I'm transitioning into a new home. I'm trying to come up with the money to get out of here. So I got a lot on my plate, and learning a new career is not happening right now. So I haven't even picked the guitar up yet, but I'm all ready to go. And I think it's going to start, the guitar is going to start very soon. So, that's my acoustic hanging up in the bag on the wall. I like that. So I bought the acoustic because acoustic guitars are very hard to play. So if you can learn on an acoustic, going to an electric guitar is going to be like a breeze. So you want to learn on the acoustic. And to be honest, learning on the acoustic is going to be better because you're not plugged into electrics. You know, you don't have all this equipment to plug in learning simple shit. You know, I don't want to burn my amp up putting miles on it. Yeah, it's an $800 Marshall amp. So I don't want to like fart around with it, and like I want to use that for like good use, not farting around, you know? So why have an amp? Why have an electric guitar if you're just farting around in the living room? So that's what guitar starts out as, is farting around. And there's really no need for an electric guitar when you start out playing guitar. There's really just no need for an electric. You got to kind of have some sort of basis for playing electric guitar. You got to have a reason, you know? So I got the acoustic just to learn on, you know? So that when I pick up the electric guitar, it's going to be all set. And I can sit in the living room with the acoustic and watch TV and play. Whereas if I'm sitting in the living room, now I've got, in the electric guitar, now I've got an amp, I got chords, I got all this shit going on. And I'm trying to watch TV, whereas all I want to do is just play guitar and watch TV. And I don't have the amps. So that's why I got the acoustic, just as training purposes. Plus, you need it. As a musician, you need an acoustic guitar. I mean, you cannot be in a cover band and not have an acoustic. You got to have an acoustic. So I got the acoustic. The sun is just coming out. So, most of my knives are based off the Rick Hinderer XM series. So, I got rear-ended last summer, and I called a lawyer because my back was messed up, and they took MRIs and realized they had some scar tissue and scars on my disc in my back. So I got some scar tissue. It's not scar tissue money. It's real money. So they gave me a settlement. Not much, but it was like $13,000. So I didn't have anywhere for the money to go. I'm not going to buy a house right now. It's just I'm on disability, Social Security, so I'm not buying a house. That's out of the question. I'm not doing anything with money in my life other than starting a new career. So that's what I did. I bought guitars. And I should have bought more guitars and not bought these knives. But in my head at the time when I had the money, it was like a Gibson Les Paul and a Fender Stratocaster, and I'm golden. To me, in my head, those two guitars are iconic, and I won't need anything else. But now that I think about it, the Les Paul needs a backup, because if I break a string on stage, I need another Les Paul. So I need two Les Pauls, I need two Stratocasters, and I need two Ibanez's for shredding metal songs. There's really three guitars you need to be in a cover band. You need a Les Paul, you need a Stratocaster, and you need something to do heavy metal with a whammy. A good whammy. Not just one that comes on the Stratocaster. The Stratocaster whammy is like a half a whammy. It only goes down. It doesn't really go up. It does go up a little bit, but it's not really designed for pulling up. It's just really designed to go down and dive. Whereas a heavy metal guitar with a tremolo whammy bar can go up and down. So, you need a heavy metal guitar to do heavy metal. You do, if you're going to be legit on stage. So, I'm shopping right now for a heavy metal guitar. I don't know what I'm going to get. I'm kind of shopping at the Ibanez Japanese because they're dirt cheap. Man, you can get like two guitars for the price of one American guitar. You know, so I'm thinking about getting a used Ibanez. But I'm not really sure yet on what metal guitar I want. So instead of buying these knives, I should have bought more guitars, but whatever. I like the knives, and I like starting a collection. So the first knife that I'm going to show you is not a Rick Hinderer XM knife. It's a KI, the letters KAI, ZT. It's a United States-based company, but the owner is Japanese, I think. I think he's Japanese. I know he's Asian, but I think he's Japanese. So everything is based out of the United States, but the bank goes back to Japan. So I think. I'm not really sure. So I got this ZT knife that emulates a Hinderer XM18. So I said, I don't have the money for an XM18 Hinderer, because they were like $500 at the time. And over $500 on the secondary market. And this was a couple years ago, 3 years ago. So Hinderer hadn't supplied the United States yet. He hadn't got going yet. He was still getting going 3 years ago. Like, he's ramping up. Like, he's growing in business, I think, anyway. I don't know much about knives, but I'm just trying to make a good guess. So I got this ZT knife that emulates, it's a Hinderer collaboration. So Hinderer collaborated with ZT, and they made this imitation XM18. And it's called the ZT0562 tie for titanium. And it comes with 20 CV steel on the blade, which is really not a whole lot better than 20 CV steel. It's really good in edge retention. So, and it's a stainless steel, so it's not going to corrode. So, the blade steel is very good. And what I just found out, which is the inspiration to this whole video, is that they use a titanium alloy, which is actually stronger than raw titanium. So I looked at my raw titanium Hinderer knife that I'm going to show you, and I said, geez, the titanium looks so much better than this cheap ZT. Then I looked online, I said, why is this ZT titanium look so cheap? Like, you can see my fingerprints in it. My oily fingerprints make distortions in the titanium. And that doesn't happen with the raw titanium from Hinderer. So I said, I got a cheap knife I got to sell. It was $300 online on eBay, this ZT knife. So I just looked up. I found out that they use a titanium alloy, which is actually more durable and stronger than raw titanium. So I said, oh, geez, they really stepped it up. So it doesn't look as good as raw titanium, but it's stronger and more durable. So, and then I looked at the knife that I wore in my pocket for 3 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, and I saw scratches, not like very light scratches that are noticeable. And I thought the stonewashing finish would cover it, but they really don't. Stonewashing, most people think that if they get a stonewash blade or knife, that it's gonna cover the scratches, but it doesn't. But then I realized, well, don't be upset about the scratches and the wear marks, because it's kind of like patina, and I like patina. So as I look at the ZT knife, I see an inferior titanium, but it's kind of got character, you know? So I thought about it, and I said, geez, this knife's got character, a lot of character. So here is the ZT 0562. See the wear? This little line right here, it's a wear line. I don't know, I must have been wearing 2 knives or something. I had some in my pocket. But do you see what I'm saying? That's kind of like patina. So this is the titanium alloy. And you're not going to be able to tell raw titanium from titanium alloy on the camera, but to the naked eye, you can see it. So, as you can see, it's a thin knife, relatively thin. And there's all the printing. You can kind of see the minor scratches and the patina starting to form. So, I set all my knives to 20 degrees sharpening. I professionally sharpen them to 20 degrees. So that way, I never have to change the sharpener. I can leave it set to one angle. And it just makes for a better sharpening experience and a more accurate sharpening. So my knives are like freaking, I don't think you can get them any sharper. So I like this knife. I started liking this knife a lot. Once I found out that it's not inferior titanium, it's just a different titanium. It's an alloy. So, this was purchased 3 years ago. And I carried it on me every day for 3 years, 2.5 years, 3 years. And it was $300 when I bought it. There's still $300 on eBay. They're all over the place on eBay. Pocket knives in ZT is very big on eBay. So if you need a ZT knife, check out eBay. They're very good. But the other knife companies online, like Blade HQ will sell ZT. Everybody sells ZT. So I ended up loving this knife because of the patina. I like patina. So I don't mind the scratches that I can see on it because it's just normal wear for me. Alright, so that's the imitation Hinderer XM18. That's the imitation one. So then, I got my settlement, and I said I wasn't going to buy a knife. I was going to save my money, and then I don't know, I got upset about my life, and I just said, fuck it, I'm spending the money. So I said I was going to start with one Hinderer knife. And they didn't really have a normal XM18 that I wanted that I could see initially looking. When I have money in my pocket, I kind of rush and buy it. And I don't really spend the homework on what I'm buying like I should. I do the homework after I purchase it while I'm waiting for it in the mail. That's what I like to do. I like to get to what I want, buy it, and then I research it after I buy it. So they didn't really have a normal XM18 that I wanted on DLT trading site. And that's where I've gotten most of my stuff at DLT trading. So, I set my eyes on this automatic XM18. So it's spring actuated. You just press a button and the XM18 blade pops out. And it didn't occur to me at the time that that knife wouldn't satisfy me. Had I thought about it more, I would have said, geez, you know what, this knife doesn't satisfy the itch. I want a normal XM18. But I'll get into that in a minute. So I got this knife that I started out by not liking. And then I got it in the mail, and I was like, wow, I don't even want to use this. But then I looked at the ZT knife and looked at the patina of the stonewash, and I said, Jesus, stonewashing is going to be nice on this knife. So let's look at it. So this is the Rick Hinderer XM18 Bowie blade. Stonewash everything. Titanium everything. This was the first Rick Hinderer knife that I ever bought. And it would soon be followed by a whole fleet of other Rick Hinderers. But as you can see, it's 100% titanium. The hardware is titanium. Everything's titanium except for the blade and pivot, which is, this blade is S45VN, which is very good steel. It's very good to sharpen too. So, it's just a nice knife to have. And you push the button in and it unlocks the blade to close it. And you push the button in and it pops out really fast. Really strong too. And I like the design that they left. This is the Rick Hinderer design that they left on the handle. There's the button, there's the pivot. And the pivot on this, they did not have to redesign. They kept the same pivot of all their knives, their tri-way system, but you can only use phosphor bronze washers. So you cannot put bearings in this knife. In fact, they don't recommend you take the knife apart at all, because it's a bit of a bitch to put back together. So I recommend you not take this knife apart. And you can't even get this on DLT right now. It's sold out. So it's not even an option to buy. So they don't know when they're going to get these back. So this was the first Rick Hinderer XM18 I bought. So, and I got it and I said, geez, I don't want to use it. So, and then later on I realized, no, you do want to use it. You want it to wear. You want it to scratch up. You want it to patina. So then I got into stonewashing knives. But at the time that I got this knife, I said, well, I need a working knife. I need something to use. Actually, at that time, I said, I need an XM24. Because that was going to be, I said, well, I got the XM18, and it's a little small. I think I'd rather carry an XM24. And I got the money for the XM24. And it was $595. Not cheap stuff. The automatic XM18 was $650 because it's a full titanium. Both sides of the handle are titanium, which brings the price up quite a bit. It shouldn't, but it does. So I got that first XM18 in, and I said, I'd rather carry an XM24. So I got this police-inspired XM24. And it's $595, and it's got a black G10 handle with a titanium liner and a titanium anodized blue. Just regular ano. Regular anodized blue. With a stonewash blade. 20 CV steel on this. So 20 CV steel is very good. You really can't beat it. I'm not a metal guy, but I'm happy. And what I noticed about this anodization on the titanium, it leaves fingerprints. And the fingerprints are another color. So it's kind of like a marbleization on the titanium anode from your fingerprints that kind of brings character to it. Another kind of patina that I like. So this one, if this one scratches, you're going to see raw titanium. So I don't want to scratch this knife. So I'm probably not going to use this knife a whole lot. Especially not for work. If I do any kind of plumbing work, I'm definitely not going to take this knife. But I like it a lot because the blue is just really popping. I don't know if you can really see the blue, but it's really beautiful. So I'm a little hesitant to use this knife. But it is out and ready for me to use. So then I started jotting around. I said, geez, these knives are fucking cool. And I didn't really have it down what I wanted yet. I said, geez, I got these two knives. I don't want to use them. So then, but in the back of my head, I always said, you can use them. They are usable knives. They're not complete show knives, but custom show knives. But if you wanted to use them, you could use them. But I got the two knives in. I said, I don't want to use this. So I need something I can use. So then I got another XM24, but in working finish. So this is going to be a little bit more durable. It's like a metal stain. If you could take wood stain and make it into metal stain, that's a lot what like working finish is like. It's still stone washed. You can still see the stone washing titanium in the working finish stain that they put on it, but it's durable. So let's take a look at that one. So this is the XM24 Stonewash blade, 20 CV steel, red G10, and as you can see, it's gray, working finish. And as you can see, you can still see stonewashing in the titanium. So this is going to hold up quite a bit better. And I said this was going to be my work knife. And I'm cool with using this knife because it has the working finish. But then I'm kind of... The working finish still can be damaged. You can still cut through the working finish and get to raw titanium and it's going to show like a scratch. So I got the working finish and I'm happy I got the working finish. And I will take this to work. And I will use this. But I said I want everything working finish. And I want an XM18 base model. So, with all working finish. So, I ran out of, by this time, after two XM24s, one XM18, I was getting low on money. And all the guitars I bought. So, I made payments on this one. This is an XM18 in S45VN steel. And it's all working finish, as you can see. The blade and everything. XM18 3.5. And then I put micarta scale on it. This OD green micarta scale is something I installed on it from Hinderer. So again, this is going to be a nicely patinaed knife. And I don't know the way I feel about finishes on these knives now, because everything can be damaged, given a degree. So now I'm wondering, geez, maybe I should stop with the working finish, because now I got 2 knives with working finish. And I like it, but maybe I should go with stonewash, just plain stonewash, raw titanium stonewash, because you're going to scratch it. That's the thing, is I'm a master plumber. I'm a licensed master plumber, so in the state of Rhode Island, so I hard use my knives, I use them as hammers, I use them as pry tools, I use them as knives. So I'm kind of rethinking the finishes. In fact, I have another knife in my cart on DLT Trading, and it's a skinny variant of the XM18. So I wanted it, and I got it in Battle Blue. So Battle Blue is going to be the toughest, one of the toughest anodization. It's different from working finish. Working finish is working finish, and it's like a stain. But the Battle Blue from Rick Hinderer is a type of technically a type of ano, but it's tough stuff. So I took it out of my cart because it can be damaged, and I don't want to see raw titanium against a blue finish. That would just bug me on a $600 knife, or a $500 knife, $400 knife. The XM18 is skinny, is going for $425 right now on DLT Trading. So I'm kind of leaning on going towards, for the rest of my purchases, doing some sort of stonewash finish, because I think that's the best way to cover scratches and patina and wear. You're gonna beat the shit out of the knife, so you might as well just accept it and beat the shit out of it and not worry about it, and not worry about the finish being scratched. So don't get the finish, because it's gonna get scratched. So get the stone. Well, that's what I've come to the conclusion to, is just get the stonewash, because the ZT, as you can see, I know you could see the patina when I showed it to you. So if you're the kind of guy that likes patina, then I would go the stonewash finish, because the stonewash finish is going to patina. So it's going to have wear. It's going to polish. That wear you saw on that ZT was a bit of a polishing. So I polished it somehow, rubbing it somehow on something in my pocket, and you can see it. So I don't know. That's my understanding on expensive pocket knives. Now, these knives may be expensive to some people, but this is really just scratching the surface on the pocket knife trade. Some people have some serious problems. You think I got a problem spending $3,000 on knives? Because that's how much I spent. It ended up being like almost $3,000 I spent on pocket knives. I kind of got carried away, I guess. But, it's like, I'm satisfied now. I'm a little broke right now, but I have everything I want. I'm done purchasing things. I got the guitars, I got the knives. Eventually, I'll add more to the knife collection, but not right now. I gotta I got to get out of this house and somehow come up with some money. So I have a few more knives from Microtech that I like a lot. In fact, I'll show you that one before we go. This is another one of my favorite knives. This is the Microtech. Here's the Microtech symbol. This is the Microtech Ultratech. Now, it's come out since 1999, and they've revised it a few times, quite a few times. But this is the new glass breaker. This is the new ZBT. ZBP, not T, P. ZBP, Zero Blade Play. So traditionally this is a knife that you just push the button and the blade comes out. You push the button and it goes back in. Now these knives are illegal in most states, but I don't give a shit. If I can have a knife on a button, it's going to make my life a whole lot easier. You know, I'm not using it to stab people. I'm just using it to open up boxes and shit. So, I like OTF knives. So, this gets you into zero blade play for under $500. So, this knife was about $450. And it's an aluminum body construction. And it said clear natural finish, but it is a finish, and it's pretty scratch proof and pretty durable. I don't know what it is. This has to be their own private finish on this knife, because I don't see it scratching very easily. I don't know what it is. I don't know what this stuff is. It's pretty attractive though. And then it's got titanium pocket clip. They went with titanium hardware and an aluminum body. At least they got the hardware titanium. And it's got a little ball bearing for the pocket clip retainer. And I like it. It's comfortable. It slides in and out of the pocket easy. And I like that feature. And I really think everybody else should go to the same thing, because it pulls out of the pocket easy, goes into the pocket easy, and it stays put. So, and it's a Tanto blade. And here it says Microtech Ultratech. And it's Bowler's M390 MK. It's a tweaked version of Bowler's M390. So it's pretty good shit. It's the equivalent to 20 CV steel. So, which I have many knives in that steel. So I like this knife because it's relatively small and it's relatively lightweight. So it fits in the pocket perfect, and it's lightweight. It's very easy to carry. Those other knives I showed you, those Hinderers, are all heavy knives. Hey guys, my battery ran out on the camera. It just shut off. So I had to put a new battery in it and start recording again. So what I was saying was I like this knife a lot, the Microtech. So, yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say. I don't have a whole lot going on. So yeah, tell me what you think of my knife collection, and I don't have a whole lot going on in my life. I'm just trying to get my bills paid and get out of this house and get some money in my pocket and get my truck back. It's in the shop. I needed a new starter. I can't believe you can only get 96,000 miles out of a damn starter. That's bullshit. I swear to God, they time that shit to break down. I swear to God. I've never heard of a starter going on a F-150 in 96,000 miles. My last F-150, I never replaced the starter, and I had 180,000 miles on it. So, I guess that's how they do it now. They just, they consider a starter, not very important. Although it is, it's not a part of the mechanical construction of the vehicle. It's kind of like an after thing where they cut corners. They probably cheap out on the starter. If you look at the starter, I have a V8 engine, a big V8 F-150, and the starter is tiny. I couldn't believe it when I looked at it. Because I YouTubed how to replace the starter on an F-150 V8. It's in a hell of a spot. You can't even see the bolts. You have to feel for them. You got to come up with a special extension to get the bolts out, and then it's like this tiny little thing. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It looked like a toy starter, is what it looked like. So, I got to come up with $800. The mechanic put I guess he put a remanufactured. And I looked up remanufactured. They say a lot of times the remanufactured is actually better than a new one because they have the money for better parts. And the motor never goes. It's never the motor that goes on a starter. It's always the components, like the solenoid or some shit. So, I gotta get my check from Social Security, then I gotta take out $800 to get my truck back, because the guy's not releasing it until I pay him. So that was unexpected. So, alright guys, well I'm going to shut it down. Pretty soon I'm going to start playing guitar. So I'm going to start doing that on YouTube. So you'll get to see guitar very soon. Probably within a few weeks. Because I'm getting bored at home. Everything's clean. My whole area is clean. I'm ready to start studying guitar. So I'm really looking forward to it. So, alright guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, bye.